Hi everyone, my name is Peyton Ruscitti. I am the Business and Advertising Director at VUTV, and I'm here today with President Brian Konkol. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic.
That's
Today
awesome.
is a good day.
Great to hear. I'm so happy. So really quick, we'll just dive straight into it. So how does it feel to be the 20th president of Valparaiso University?
How does it feel? It feels everything. I think I feel everything a human can possibly feel all at the same time. And when you hope for something and when you pray for something and then that something actually happens, you feel excited, you feel confident, I suppose you feel a little bit nervous, you feel everything. And I suppose it's those moments when you feel everything that we're most fully alive. Mm-hmm. So it's a really exciting day.
Awesome. In your Instagram, I saw that you had said, this is a dream come true. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. It is a dream come true. I have loved Valparaiso University at every stage of my life. So the question always I get is, well, why didn't you attend Valparaiso University? There's a very simple answer. It's because I wanted to play college basketball, and I was not good enough to play basketball at Valparaiso University. So I went somewhere else and had a great experience. But I had read about Valpo at various times. I had always come across graduates. It was a place that was always on my mind. And so, especially in recent years, I thought this could be an opportunity if the timing worked out, if things came together, it would be something that I would feel called to. And one thing led to another, and here I am. So under the umbrella of be careful what you pray for and be careful what you dream about, because sometimes dreams do come true, and there are times that you do receive what you had prayed for.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. What do you believe makes Valpo a unique university among different private universities?
Yeah, there's a number of different things. I'll start with 3 words: history, community, and opportunity. I like to call it holy arithmetic. Anytime you have history plus community, you get opportunity. This place has remarkable history throughout the years. Clearly, there is a vibrant an outstanding community of faculty, staff, alumni, parents, friends. And what that leads is to opportunity. And what's unique about this place is that it's both rooted and reaching. When I think about being a Lutheran university, it has deep roots, and those roots are scholarship, freedom, and faith. But those roots don't stay below ground. They rise and to create this reach that impacts all sorts of different people in all sorts of different ways. So roots and reach. And this place is like no other, because what it does is it helps students to build their lives, right? It helps students to build their lives, not just a paycheck, but a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Not just a career, but a calling. And so by building their lives, by learning skills, by serving our world, by shining God's light, they produce a type of graduate that is absolutely good news for the world. There is no other university in the world like Valparaiso University. It's a special place, and I'm excited to lead into the next generation.
And we're excited to have you as our leader and welcome you into our Valparaiso community. I know you had just started, but what's your long-term goal with Valparaiso for like the next 5 or 10 years or so?
Sure. For me, the number one goal is when I think about students. It is about students, and it's about how do we help students to build their lives. And by building their lives, it is about thinking through how do we provide students with skills, first of all. And by skills, I mean classic liberal arts skills of critical thinking and so on and so on and so on, but also skills that are going to help them to adapt into an ever-changing environment. When we think about half of the jobs that are out there today might look very differently 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. What we also know is that graduates of the class of 2026, on average, will have between 15 and 20 different job moves over the course of their 40 to 45 year working life. So learning the skills, liberal arts plus professional studies. Number 2, when I think about serving our world, it's the recognition that learning is about more than grades, and learners are more than just brains. So it's how do we do an education not just of the head, but also of the hands, so that they're mm-hmm. serving and making the world better. And by shining God's light, I call that the education of the heart, so that we are ensuring that your diploma one day is not just good news for you, but it's good news for your community. It's good news for the world. And that's my goal, is to make sure that our students are building their lives, because that's ultimately what we're doing here at an educational institution.
Of course. And then what is one of your first priorities that you would see to do as the new president?
Yeah, is build momentum.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in momentum, is that when you're starting, and it doesn't have to be large, grand, big front page news types things, but sometimes momentum is stopping on the sidewalk and learning someone's name and having them tell your story. Sometimes it's something that happens in the classroom. Sometimes it's something at a sports match or a concert. But finding those opportunities to build positive momentum so that we're all bringing our best to this campus community and we're all building our future together. So that's something that I'm looking for, is those opportunities to build positive momentum, optimism, hope, and that's going to make us all better.
Awesome. And then you talk a lot about the students. How do you plan on having students play a key factor in decision making?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in presence. And presence for me means I'm going to show up. And so I want students to flood my email inbox with invitations. Flood it with invitations. I think it's important to show up. Students are why we are here. And it's important to show up and to be present. And being present means listening, engaging, and ensuring that students have an active and real voice in how it is that we operate. And so I'm a big believer in transparency. I'm a big believer in listening. And I'm a big believer in telling the truth, that telling folks why decisions were made, what the other options were, and allowing people to be a part of the process. I think that that's critically important, A, because we're ultimately about students, and B, it's helping students to learn how decisions are made for when they find themselves in similar seats at some point in their lives.
Yeah, I'm sure the students will really appreciate that. It will definitely help them as they go on with their lives after college. How do you plan to improve student retention, engagement, and sense of belonging?
This is really important to me. I'll start with belonging, because I think this is important. And I think belonging is connected to a couple other key B words. I think belonging is connected to becoming. That when you belong to something larger than themselves, then you become something what you never imagined possible. So belonging is connected to becoming. Every student here is becoming something new. If you're the same person from the first day of class as you are on the last day, you should ask for your money back, right? I mean, there's a becoming process. So when you connect belonging plus becoming, what that leads to is bestowing, that you are bestowing something good on our world. And so if you can connect those three, I am utterly convinced that retention, belonging, and all the things that make this university great will absolutely happen. And so I'm confident. But it does start when we go back to showing up. And I think as leaders, we have to be present, we have to show up. And when you show up, you listen and you learn and you observe, and then you apply those lessons into the way we operate a university.
One of the rising concerns for students is the tuition costs. Obviously, recently, tuition has gone up. How do you plan to address that while also helping students with their financial needs?
Sure. For me, one of the core elements of being a Lutheran institution is access. Access. Now, when we go 500 years back into the history of the Lutheran tradition, it starts in many ways with providing people with access to scriptures that they didn't otherwise have access to. So from the very beginning of this tradition, it was about welcoming people in to the opportunity to learn. So access is a part of this tradition. And as we look into the specific details of what that looks like in the months and years to come, it's about ensuring that this place is an opportunity for people, and therefore we have to create access. And obviously, that has a key part around finance and affordability. So we're going to work hard on that, and we're going to ensure that a Valparaiso University education is accessible, not just for 18 to 22-year-olds, but I think about what about learners who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s? And what about people who aren't just looking for bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees? There's all sorts of different ways. And I think it comes back to being clear about your mission and also being creative with your methods. And we'll find a path forward.
Awesome. On the blog post that was sent to all students announcing you being president, it said, at Hendricks Chapel, you created a transformational 5-year strategic plan that led to a 933% increase in student participation and the development of more than 2,000 annual programs serving over 1.1 million participants each year. Congratulations on that, by the way. Do you plan on implementing anything like that here at Valpo? And if so, what is that going to look like?
Well, there's definitely some things that we learned there that I think will work here. And I'm proud of the work that we did at Hendricks Chapel. We had an amazing team there, and I'm so grateful for them. I had a wonderful experience in Syracuse. And undoubtedly, I'm going to take some of those lessons and see if some of those lessons can apply here. This is a different place. So by no means do I think exactly what worked there is going to work here. But what was important to me is this. It started with a mindset, and there's two things. Number one is that in leadership, it's not good enough to be approachable. I think you have to be approaching, meaning I don't need to just say my door's open and just come on by. It means that my door's open so that I can get out of there and go where people are. So it's not just about being approachable, it's about being approaching. And number two, it's what I would call a culture of invitation. That when you care about something and when you believe about something, you want to invite people into that something. For example, I'm a Wisconsin guy, right? So I like ice cream. And if I have a good bowl of ice cream, I'm going to tell you about it, even if you don't even ask me about it. I can't not tell you about it. I have to tell you, right? Because I'm passionate about it. Why wouldn't we think that about Valparaiso University? To say, I'm passionate about it, I believe in it, and I want you to know about it. Why? Because I want you to taste it too. So a culture of invitation, being approaching, not just approachable, and I'm convinced that the outcomes of that will be exceptional.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. One last question for you, and I got to ask, with it being the time of the holidays, what is your favorite holiday tradition?
Oh, my favorite holiday tradition. Oh, that's great. Well, I have a grandmother who passed away a couple years ago who used to make lefse. She comes from the Norwegian side of our family, and there's something about eating lefse during this time of year that makes me think about her, and it makes me think about ultimately my love for her and her love for all of us. There's something about that particular food. There's a number of others, but that particular one, I also just need to mention too. When I think about hymns, right? There's certain hymns in the church that are sung during this time of year that they're so moving. Whereas other hymns you might sing throughout the course of the year, there's just some that come out specifically for this time. And I find them moving. I find them very special and bring me to a very meaningful place. So yeah, some lefse and some good old Lutheran hymns. That would be my response.
That's perfect. All right. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing everything you do here at Valparaiso University. And I hope I speak on everyone when I say welcome to the Valpo community.
Thank you very much.